Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 23 days away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas. That is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are really curious and worried about is, of course, the ending of this movie, the final scene of The Rise of Skywalker, and exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to handle all of this, and how it's really going to compare to the ending of that of Return of the Jedi. Even J.J. Abrams stated on Good Morning America that they're not messing around with the ending of this movie. It's going to have a lot of clarity and making sure that it lets fans know that this is the very end of the Skywalker saga. No ifs, ands, or buts. No, ambiguity of continuing the Skywalker saga. This is it, essentially. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm going through various changes and adjustments that took place over the months of August, September, and October of this year, they made many different changes to the film's plot and even adjusted the overall structure of the movie, which, honestly, it sounds to me like that's not a good thing and a recipe for disaster. But one thing in particular about the final scene of The Rise of Skywalker that is truly unfortunate and really just sounds like a train wreck coming for us and the fans is that it's explained that during the months of August, September, and October is when many changes and adjustments were made to the film's second and third acts by Disney and Lucasfilm, as well as by Kathleen Kennedy. Now, it's said that though many of these changes, large portions of the film were either altered or completely deleted from the film. It's explained that the final scene / the ending of the movie was severely affected by these changes and adjustments to the film, where it's described that one of the original segments of the film's final scene involved both Rey and Kylo Ren having a romantic ending on Tatooine at the very end of the movie, that originally Kylo Ren / Ben Solo was supposed to live on as the last Skywalker. The segment was said to include Adam Driver as Ben Solo, with Rey on Tatooine, where he was actually said to be in new Jedi robes, color brown, similar to Obi-Wan's at the very end of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith on Tatooine, where his hair is slicked back, where he is said to have his mother's lightsaber on his belt, such as Leia's lightsaber, where both Rey and Ren are standing in front of a large Jedi temple, just in front of the Lars homestead, where John Williams composed a brand new Skywalker theme for Kylo Ren. Sadly and unfortunately, this was cut from the film's final scene and was said to be reworked by Disney and Lucasfilm, and that in this scene it was established that Kylo Ren was the Skywalker who would rise, where he would rename himself as Ben Solo Skywalker, giving a nod to the expanded universe of Luke's son's name Ben Solo, or should I say Ben Skywalker in the EU, that is currently not canon. Now, this was completely changed by Disney making the decision to kill off Ben Solo at the end of the film, where his true fate is said to be left ambiguous. No Force Ghost or no Force Ghost voice of Ben Solo is heard in the final cut of the movie, and that Rey takes the Skywalker name for herself to rid of the reminder that she is a Palpatine and connected to his bloodline. The end of the film establishes that Rey is the Chosen One, however she is a Palpatine by blood who becomes the Chosen One, which may divide fans from the very last frames of the movie. Anakin originally was going to appear as a Force Ghost on Tatooine, however that too was deleted from the final scene, where now it's only Luke and Leia's Force Ghost watching over Rey and her friends, and that John Williams' new Skywalker theme has been cut from the movie as well, where instead a brand new Rey theme plays over the shot as she looks at the binary sunset with a white hood over her head. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, and once again as to why I believe that this just sounds like a train wreck of the different ideas that they just completely abandoned and what could have been for the final scene of Episode 9. Now, I'm sure that you guys heard about all the different endings that they were actually, switching around and kind of just, trying to test things out, which would work with, the ending of the movie and which would not really work with the actual film by Disney. And this one in particular, that specific segments involving Kylo Ren's survival being implemented into the film almost made it to the final cut of the movie, is terrible. The fact that they did not allow him to live, and how The Rise of Skywalker, originally the title, was going to pertain to Kylo Ren rising as the new Skywalker and renaming himself as Ben Solo Skywalker. Like I say, it is a nice nod to Ben Skywalker, Luke's son in the expanded universe. That is not canon, by the way. Keep that in mind for any casual viewers or new viewers out there. Ben Skywalker, Luke's son, is not canon. But that would have been, of course, the canon version by Disney of making Ben Skywalker a literal thing. Now, I don't know about you, but the fact that they were going to have a large Jedi temple on Tatooine just seems so right. I mean, just seems so right. It just makes a lot of sense. Why would they abandon an idea like that? And these ideas, by the way, were said to be a part of George Lucas and his original edit of the very ending of Episode 9, of what he actually wrote for the movie and what he directed over at Pinewood Studios and, of course, over at Cardington during the reshoots. Now, I don't know about you also, but to me, the fact that Rey takes the Skywalker name and becomes the new Chosen One, it just does not sit well with me at all. It doesn't feel right. And the reason as to why I believe that she should not be the Chosen One, I'll say it right here, right now, is that she is a Palpatine by blood. I mean, think about that. She's a Palpatine by blood, yet she becomes the new Chosen One. And hence, in a way, if you look at it this way, Palpatine was able to get it, his way, that his own bloodline is now the Chosen One. So, I don't know about you guys, but that really does not make a lot of sense to me. It just doesn't fit the overall narrative of the title itself, I guess you could say. The Rise of Skywalker means that Rey takes the Skywalker name. I really don't know how fans are going to react to this. I can only imagine that right now there's going to be a great divide of fans, people that like that idea or dislike that idea. Listen, I mean, I'm all up for ideas by J.J. Abrams, but that one in particular, I think, is not going to sit well with a lot of Star Wars fans out there, myself included. I will say that, the original ideas that almost made it to the final cut of the movie, such as Ben Solo calling himself Ben Solo Skywalker, him appearing with Jedi robes on with his mother's lightsaber on his belt, and even having a romantic ending with Rey on Tatooine. It seems like also that Disney and Lucasfilm want nothing to do with romance in this film. I don't know about you, but when we look at every single Star Wars movie, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story included, there's no romance like the way that Han and Leia was, or the way that Anakin and Padme was. Say what you will about romantic moments in a movie, but it does belong in Star Wars. It's a tradition. It's a thing that we have seen in the prequels and the originals that Disney seems to just kind of disregard and just put it to the wayside. And they seem to not want any kind of romance at all. Now, I get it. Some people like Reylo, some people dislike Reylo. I'm kind of in the middle there, where it is an obstacle to go through. Kylo Ren, after all, is a man who killed so many people. He killed his own father. To have him, be with Rey would be a very tricky thing for Disney and Lucasfilm to do, based on exactly how certain fans would react to that. It's a very hard decision. So they left that out for that reason, most likely, because they didn't want, the Reylo fans and the non-Reylo fans to be divided over that decision. But with that being said, what they could have at least kept in the film was Anakin's Force Ghost watching over the two, and not just that, the Jedi Temple being seen in front of that beautiful binary sunset on Tatooine, and not just that, the Skywalker theme that was deleted, that John Williams himself composed, that was actually going to also pertain to Kylo Ren being the Skywalker that rises and takes on a new Jedi training temple, would have actually been great. Now, obviously, the big decision in deleting that scene had to do with them wanting more clarity and closing the book on the Skywalker saga forever. I guess if they chose to stick with that final version of the film and that final ending, it would have actually led people to believe that there would be a continuation of the Skywalker saga. And to be honest with you guys, in my point of view here, why not? Why can't we continue with the Skywalker saga? I think that there was a great opportunity there to at least maybe have Adam Driver, reprise his role as Ben Solo, maybe decades from now as an older version of Ben Solo as a Jedi Master with new Jedi that he's training, and would have been a very interesting thing to do. But that's just my point of view on things. You guys may agree, you guys may disagree, that's perfectly fine, that's part about being a human being, we all have different opinions. So with that being said, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about the final, ending of Episode 9, the final scene, if you will, and the decisions by Disney and Lucasfilm. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.